Hi everyone, welcome to the first webinar of a series of webinars and workshops conducted by TCS in lieu of the upcoming CIMA Operational Case Study examinations happening in February 2024. My name is Nick and I'm the lead tutor and evaluator for OCS at TCS. So let's look at what I'm planning to cover in today's webinar. So first things first, I will be taking you through the OCS exam, thereby providing an overview about the OCS exam. Some of you might be coming through an exemption route such as FLP. If that is the case, you have to be conversant with the examination structure. And even if you are coming through the CIMA general route, you need to know how your knowledge is tested via a case study. Because this might be the first time you are attempting a CIMA case study. So you need to be conversant with the nitty-gritties pertaining to it. So I'll be covering these areas in the first part of today's webinar. And later on, the most important element in today's webinar is the 7-week study plan. So I will be telling what you need to do in the upcoming 7 weeks in order to be in a position to excel in your examination. And on top of that, if you stick to our study plan, you would find it extremely easy to complete your preparations on time. And most students start preparations 2 or 3 weeks before the exam, and because of that, within a short period of time, because they are trying to do too much, they run out of time. They will be exposed to extreme levels of stress. So in order to avoid all these type of adversities, it's prudent to stick to our study plan, which is the smarter choice. So you would understand what I'm talking about when I take you through this study plan. So before we start or commence the technicalities behind this webinar, let me remind you about the upcoming webinars and workshops we have scheduled. Mind you, each of these webinars and workshops are conducted free of charge. So even if you do not invest on our paid content, you can benefit from these webinars and workshops. So on a weekly basis, you can get in touch with me via the webinars, and this will be extremely beneficial for you, because on a weekly basis, when you can get in touch with a tutor, you can keep track of your performance, keep track of your preparations. And if you encounter any shortcomings or failures, you can always get in touch with me, and I'm always there to help you guys out. So the second webinar is scheduled to happen on the 23rd of December, which is next Saturday. And as part of this second webinar, I will be taking you through the pre-scene document based on the annotated pre-scene which we have prepared. So I'll be partially conducting a pre-scene analysis so that you know what this time's pre-scene is about. And in the third webinar, which is the most important webinar out of all 4 webinars, I will be highlighting answering technique, because in order to excel at the OCS examination, you need to know the type of answers or the type of technicalities you need to get right when developing your answers. Most students, take it from me, they run out of time when developing answers at the OCS exam. And most students are clueless about how to bring in E1, F1, and P1 relevant theoretical knowledge and inculcate it or include it within the answers. So all these problems can be avoided if you stick to our answering technique. So answering as well as time management techniques will be highlighted in the third webinar. And in the fourth webinar, exam prep, I will be highlighting about what you need to do to develop a better level of confidence, because as per the CIMA examiner, students who have a positive attitude closer to the exam and during the exam, students who are confident end up easily passing the OCS exam. So I'll highlight what you need to do to develop your confidence. And on top of that, I will also highlight the type of negative elements which you need to avoid when conducting your preparations, because most students out there are clueless about what they are supposed to do when it comes to conducting preparations. And because of that, they try to do too much. And this leads to extreme levels of stress, and stress leads to a low level of confidence, and this in turn leads to a failure. So I will also highlight what you need to do or the common reasons for failure and what you need to do to avoid these issues when conducting your preparations. And once the webinars are done, I will be conducting 3 workshops on a weekly basis. And in each workshop, I will be, taking you through an answer plan of a certain task of a mock exam, focusing on an F1 related question, P1 related question, as well as an E1 related question, so that you'd understand what is expected from you, what type of answers you are supposed to develop when faced with questions which cover each syllabus element. So these things will be covered in the first 2 workshops. And via these workshops, these are Q&As. So if you encounter any hiccups or issues, you can always get in touch with me via these workshops, even if you do not invest on our study material. And in the final Q&A, I will be giving you last minute tips pertaining to what you need to get right in the last 2 or 3 days leading up to your exam, because it's of utmost importance that you remain confident and you rest well 2 or 3 days before your exam. So I will highlight all these things in the last workshop. And again, this is a Q&A session as well. So if you encounter any problems, you can raise these concerns within each of these workshops as well as webinars. So I hope you'd attend all these webinars and workshops on a weekly basis so that you can keep track of your preparations and excel your OCS exam in the first sitting itself. All right, so let's look at the pathway to OCS. So there are 2 sets of students coming into the OCS examination. So there are a set of students who are coming through the CIMA general route. So these individuals have done their E1, F1, and P1 OTQs. So because of that, they are solely or they are thoroughly conversant with the theoretical elements. Okay, because at this examination, if you do not know theory, you cannot pass this case study. So most students who are coming through the CIMA general route find the OCS exam to be particularly easy. Why? Because they know their theory, because they had done the OTQ exams. On the other hand, there are another set of students coming through the finance leadership program, or FLP, or in other terms, this is an exemption route. So these students, since they had not done their OTQ exams, what I've encountered is all the students come to the OCS examination via the FLP route. Most students are clueless about P1 and F1 syllabi. So they are totally conversant with E1 because it's covered within their degree programs. But when it comes to P1 and F1, particularly P1, management accountancy, the technical nitty-gritties are not covered within the degree programs. So because of that, most students end up failing the OCS exam. Most students coming through FLP end up failing the OCS exam, especially because of the P1 subject. So if you look at the composition of your question paper, 80% of weightage is provided for F1 and P1, and out of that 60% is for P1 or management accountants. So if you do not know your P1, then there's absolutely no chance of passing the OCS exam. So although I'm saying these things, you need not worry, because we have developed a study system as well as study material with the intention of ensuring that even students who are coming through the FLP route are in a position to learn theory within a short period of time, within a period of 6 weeks. If you utilize our study material, you can easily learn theory as well as understand how to apply theory when developing your answers. So that's exactly why I said I invite you guys to keep in touch with us on a weekly basis via the workshops and webinars. If you do, then, and if you utilize our material, then you can easily pass the pass your OCS examination. All right, so getting into the technical nitty-gritties pertaining to your exam, this is a PC-based examination, and the time allocation in its totality is 3 hours, and the paper consists of 4 main tasks, and each task carries a time allocation of 45 minutes. So the CIMA examiner tries to replicate a real-life corporate environment when developing questions. So this is not like a typical examination. When you go to your exam, when you open up the question paper, the first task, as well as all the other tasks, will be as if your finance manager is sending you an email, or some other type of manager within the chosen organization is sending you an email, and you are supposed to respond to that email. So that's exactly what you do within your offices, within corporate environment. So as I told you earlier, since the CIMA examiner is trying to replicate a real life corporate environment, all the questions will be thrown at you in email format. And it's as if you open up an email at office and provide your responses to a certain manager. Okay, so that's how this is, the exam is structured. And as I told you earlier, at the very beginning of this webinar, I said that most students end up running out of time because all the 45 minutes are allocated for each and every task. Mind you, you need to read the question, and with the question, there will be an attachment, just like, what you'd encounter within your office or work environments. So once you receive an email, there will be an attachment which gives you further information about what's covered within the email. So you need to read the question as well as the reference material or the attachment. So this takes a bit of time. It will take something like 5 minutes of your time. Then you need to start developing your answers. After you develop your answer structures, you need to expand your answer structure, thereby typing the final answer. So all these things, when you try to do all these things within 45 minutes, you can't do it. Why? Because you lack practice. So it's of utmost importance that you keep practicing answering and time management techniques, which we will highlight in the third webinar. So in order to get the answering and time management techniques right, you need to keep practicing them when attempting each of your mock exams. So you'd understand what I'm talking about later on when I take you through the 7-week study plan. So the time allocation for each task is 45 minutes. And once you're done with, for instance, task number 1, you will be, once your time is up for task number 1, you will be directed to the second task, and you cannot go back to task number 1. So once your 45 minutes are up, you'd be directed to the next task. You cannot go back. So within 45 minutes, you need to get everything right. So it's not easy. For task number 1, you have to spend 45 minutes, focus on answering and time management techniques, then move on to task 2. Again, you need to focus on answering and time management techniques. So likewise, throughout the 3 hours, you have to be extremely focused. So in order to achieve this type of focus, you need to practice enough mock exams. You need to practice the answering and time management techniques. And on top of that, you need to have the capability to have a positive mindset, positive attitude throughout the examination, throughout three hours. So this is not easy. However, via the webinars and workshops, we are covering all these elements. Via our study material, we are covering all these elements. So because of that, if you utilize our services, then you are in a position to get all these things right within a short span of 7 weeks. And the pass mark is 80 out of 150 or 54%. So there's no grading given, just a pass or a fail is provided, since this is a professional qualification. So it's easy to achieve 54% if you stick to the study plan which we are providing in today's webinar. All right, so then further moving forward, when developing these questions, the CIMA examiner provides you information about a fictitious company through something called a pre-scene document. Okay, so you might have, since this is the second sitting pertaining to the previous pre-scene document, you would have already gone through the pre-scene document. So via the pre-scene document, the examiner gives you information about a fictitious or made-up company. So the pre-scene can be divided into 4 main elements. So first things first, the examiner provides you with an introduction into the company. Then the examiner moves further to give you an indication about the history of the company, its market share, what it had been doing and whatnot, what the type of stakeholders it works with, the type of leadership within the company, the type of products or services sold by the company. All these things will be covered in the second part of the pre-scene. And in the third part of the pre-scene, the examiner gives you an indication about industry dynamics, thereby highlighting what type of competitors your chosen company needs to deal with, what type of different stakeholders, what type of customers it deals with, what type of suppliers it deals with, and whatnot. And in the fourth and final part of the pre-scene document, the examiner gives you an indication about the financial performance of the company, thereby providing the financial statements of the chosen company. So you'd see a statement of profit and loss, the statement of financial position, and the statement of cash flows. So based on these, by going through these financial statements, you are in a position to, you are supposed to understand where the company stands in a financial sense. So all this information is provided via a pre-scene document. So you have to be really conversant with the pre-scene. So you might be thinking, okay, this is not an easy task. Yes, that is so. However, we at TCS, we have developed something called an annotated pre-scene. So if you go through this annotated pre-scene, I'll show you what the annotated pre-scene looks like later on. So if you go through this annotated pre-scene, you are in a position to easily understand the most important elements or information covered within the pre-scene document. So you need not try and evaluate the pre-scene document on your own, because as a student, you might not, most students do not have the capability to go through a 25-page document and identify or understand the most important information. So in order to make your life easier, we have developed an annotated pre-scene. So if you simply go through the annotations which we have provided, then you are in a position to decrypt or understand the pre-scene document, or gain an in-depth understanding about the pre-scene document, which is going to be extremely beneficial for you at your real exam. So in the exam, you are required to address issues or questions relating to the operations of the company. So you are supposed to play the role of a finance officer. I will talk about these things in depth in a while. So the finance, what you need to understand is the finance officer is located within the operational level of the chosen organization. So the operational level is the lowest level of any given organization. So you would have learned under E1 that any organization consists of three main elements. At the very top, you get the strategic level. So that's where the board of directors are. So that's where long-term decision-making happens. And in the middle, you get the management level. That's where the middle level management are. So the middle level management creates the link between the board members and the low level employees, or employees at the operational level. And at the lowest level, you get the operational level. At the operational level, you get the employees who are involved with the day-to-day running of the company. Or in other terms, although the strategic level, or the individuals at the strategic level, or the board members arrive at long-term decisions, when it comes to implementation, it is handled by the employees at the operational level. So you are involved with the daily running of the business, or you are involved with implementing the decisions taken by the senior management as well as the middle management. So you have to be extremely conversant with how operations are conducted within the organization. So questions are thrown at you as if, the examiner tries to highlight issues faced by the company or certain opportunities the company faces, and you are supposed to provide your evaluations based on the information provided in each and every scenario. So these questions are thrown at you to check whether you have an appropriate level of knowledge about the company. So if you're conversant with the pre-scene document, then when developing your answers, you are supposed to highlight how each answer applies to your chosen company. Because mind you, as I've been constantly telling you throughout this webinar, you are supposed to, you are employed within this chosen company. So as an employee of this company, when developing your answers, you need to ensure that all your answers are totally relevant, or totally relevant to the company, or aligned with what your company is up to. So the examiner is trying to check whether you have an appropriate level of knowledge about the company, as well as when developing answers, you need to also show that you have an appropriate level of knowledge about E1, P1, and F1 syllabi. So especially speaking, as I mentioned earlier, your knowledge pertinent to F1 and P1 is tested because when conducting daily activities within any given organization, you have to think about management accountancy and financial accountancy. E1 has everything to do with decision making. So as a finance officer, you are not supposed to be involved with decision making. Instead, as I mentioned earlier, you are supposed to implement decisions. So when implementing decisions, you need to utilize your management accountants related knowledge as well as financial accountants related knowledge. So that's exactly why a higher level of prominence is provided for P1 and F1 syllabi. That's exactly why you have to be extremely conversant with your P1 and F1 related syllabus content. Okay. So when developing answers, you need to show to the examiner that you are conversant with OTQ theory, as well as you need to show to the examiner that you are conversant about or you are knowledgeable about what happens within your own company. All right, so you need to cover these two elements when developing answers. Then let's try to understand what your role is. So as I mentioned earlier, you are playing the role of a finance officer who is located within the lowest level of the organization. You are involved with day-to-day running of the business, and or in other terms, you are involved with implementing the decisions arrived at by the senior management as well as the middle management. So since you are involved with day-to-day running of the company, you are expected to have a moderate level of application and practical thinking at this level, at the OCS level. So mind you, theories are heavily tested. So if you do not know P1 and F1, there's absolutely no chance of you passing this examination. So theories are heavily tested. The OCS exam is a highly theoretical examination. And when it comes to practical decision making, it's extremely limited. The only type of decision making you need to be involved with is with regards to recommending key performance indicators or KPIs. So you are supposed to recommend KPIs at your examination, considering the information provided in each scenario. So that's the only type of decisions which you need to arrive at or be involved with. Other than that, everything else is theory. So the examiner is testing your knowledge about P1 and F1 syllabi. Why? Because when you are implementing decisions, you have to be conversant with management accountancy, which is P1, and financial accountancy, which is F1. All right, so let's look at what you need to get right when conducting preparations in the upcoming 7 weeks. So first things first, you are supposed to read the annotated pre-scene because as I told you earlier, the examiner tests whether you have an appropriate level of knowledge about your chosen company. If not, you cannot do your job. If you do not know the company about the internal dynamics as well as the external dynamics of the company in which you work, you cannot function appropriately or you cannot do your job properly. So you are supposed to read the annotated pre-scene. After reading the annotated pre-scene, you are supposed to watch the 4 pre-scene analysis videos. And as I told you earlier, your pre-scene document is can be divided into 4 main elements, and covering each element, we have developed a set of 4 pre-scene analysis videos. So once you watch these 4 videos, you'd understand what happens within the company, what happens within its industry, and about the financial performance of the company. And just knowing the pre-scene document won't help you. You need to practice 5 exam standard mock exams. So why 5 mock exams? Because if you are to cover all syllabus elements, especially P1 and F1 related syllabus areas, you need to practice 5 mock exams. Because if you practice just 1 or 2 mock exams, I've seen most students doing this mistake. Most students, since they start preparations just 2 or 3 weeks before the exam, since they do not have time, what they do is they just attempt 1 or 2 mock exams. So you cannot cover the entire syllabus within 1 or 2 mock exams. If you have to cover the entire syllabus, you need to. So I'm involved with developing your mock papers. So when developing mock papers, I've taken the initiative to ensure that all syllabus content are covered within each and every task which I've developed. So if I'm to cover the entire syllabus within just 2 mock exams, it's extremely impossible to achieve it. So if you have to cover the entire syllabus, you have to attempt 5 mock exams. And on top of that, when attempting each mock exam, you are supposed to keep practicing your answering and time management techniques. So you understand what I'm talking about when you attend the third webinar. If I give a gist of what our answering and time management techniques are, you have to allocate out of the 45 minutes, you have to allocate 5 minutes to read the question. Then you have to allocate 20 minutes to develop something called an answer plan. Then you have to allocate 25 minutes to expand the answer plan, thereby typing your fully fledged answer. So 5 minutes for reading the question, 20 minutes for the answer plan, and 25 minutes, the remaining 25 minutes to type the answer, type out the fully fledged answer. So although it's easy, although easily I'm asking you guys to do it, you can't get it right. Although I'm asking you to allocate just 20 minutes to develop the answer plan, when you try to do it for the first time, you'd see that you take 45 minutes to develop the answer plan. But by the time you end up at mock number 3, if you stick to our study plan and if you keep practicing the answering and time management techniques, by the time you end up at mock number 3, you'd find out that now you can develop the answer plan within 20 minutes. So when you are trying this for the first time, answering techniques, you cannot develop the answer plan within 20 minutes. Take my word, you take something like 45 minutes. Some students might take 1.5 hours to develop the answer plan because you are clueless about what you are doing. But when you keep on practicing, it's like riding a bicycle. When you keep practicing, then you are in a position to improve your answering and time management techniques significantly. So that's exactly why you need to attempt or practice 5 exam standard mock exams in order to achieve 2 things. One is to cover the entire syllabus. Number 2 is to ensure that you are totally conversant and comfortable with your answering and time management techniques. If you're not planning to attempt 5 mock exams, then you are taking a risk. You can actually say goodbye to first time pass. Instead, you would have to keep repeating the OCS exam on multiple occasions. So it's better to avoid such a disastrous consequence. Then on top of that, you are supposed to attend the live webinars and workshops, which we are conducting on a weekly basis, so that you can keep track of your preparations. If you have any questions, you can throw these questions at us, so that we are there to help you guys out. And on top of that, you are supposed to refer to a set of slides in order to understand the industry dynamics. Rather than you trying to do your own research, simply stick to the industry analysis slides which we have prepared so that you can easily understand what's covered within the pre-seen document. Then I said within the latter parts of the pre-seen document, you'd encounter the financial statements of the company. So rather than you trying to analyze the financial statements, it's better to simply refer to these set of slides where you can easily understand about the financial performance of the company. And we are also predicting the type of questions which can be thrown at you based on the top 10 issues which are highlighted within the pre-seen document. So if you understand these top 10 issues by referring to these set of slides, then you can easily understand how your theoretical knowledge is tested based on what's highlighted within the pre-seen document. And on top of that, it's better to brush up your knowledge pertaining to E1, P1, and F1 related syllabus content. So in order to achieve this, you can simply refer to the theory recaps which we have provided. And most importantly, especially if you had failed your OCS exam previously, and if you are coming through the exemption route, you need to improve your theoretical knowledge, you need to improve your application skills. That's exactly why we have developed these 20 masterclasses. So these 20 masterclasses are pre-recorded. So in each masterclass, what we are trying to achieve is we are explaining the answers, questions and answers of each and every mock on a task by task basis. So there, as I told you earlier, we have developed 5 mock exams. In each mock exam, you get 4 tasks. So 5 into 4 comes up to 20 tasks in total. So focusing on each task, we have developed master classes. So in these master classes, we are trying to achieve 2 main things. We are explaining the logic behind the question and answer on a task by task basis. And on top of that, we are also teaching you OTQ theory. And just because you know your theory, you cannot pass the OCS exam. You need to know how to apply your theoretical knowledge. So we are highlighting this as well within each masterclass. So if you watch our masterclasses, you'd learn theory, you'd improve your application skills, and on top of that, you'd understand the logic behind each and every answer. So this is the best way to learn theory, because if you try to go through your study texts and learn theory through that, it's going to take a lot of time. Mind you, you only have 7 weeks at your disposal when it comes to preparing for the February exam session. So in such a scenario, rather than wasting time, this is the smart thing to do. Watch the master classes, you'd learn theory, you'd improve your application skills, and on top of that, you'd understand the logic behind each question and answer, covering all 5 mock exams. Then you are supposed to refer to the answer plans of mocks 1 to 5. You'd understand what answer plans are after the 3rd webinar, because as I told you earlier, you are supposed to allocate on a task by task basis. You are supposed to allocate 20 minutes to develop something called an answer plan. So we have developed answer plans for all 20 tasks which we have covered within the 5 mock exams. So rather than going through pages and pages of suggested answers, you can easily understand the logic and the structure of each answer by referring to these answer plans. So these are actually short notes of the suggested answers which we have developed for all 5 mock exams. So you can save a lot of time, especially closer to the exam, if you go through these answer plans. And on top of that, we are also providing personalized tutor feedback. So you can go through tutor feedback for mocks 3, 4, and 5 and understand your shortcomings. And by understanding your shortcomings, you are in a position to achieve a first time pass. All right, so let me quickly tell you, before we move on to the 7-week study plan, let me quickly tell you what we offer at TCS. So, if you are to check out our free content, please click on this button and create a user account so that you can benefit from the recorded versions, because all these webinars and workshops will be recorded, and the recorded versions will be uploaded to our website under the paid as well as free content. And on top of that, as part of free content, you will also have access to a mini mock and its suggested answer as well as the answer plan. So in order to benefit from all these free material, click on this button and check out our free content. And, before you invest on our products, you can check the sample material by clicking on this button as well. Okay, so let me quickly tell you what we offer at TCS. So we offer 2 main packages, the value pack and the premium package. So the value pack consists of recordings of all webinars. Recordings of all webinars, 5 mock exams with suggested answers, pre-scene analysis videos, as I mentioned earlier, the annotated pre-scene, industry and financial analysis slides, top 10 likely issues, the case study familiarization kit, and the OTQ revision cards. And on top of that, you would have access to a tutor managed live chat as well. And the value pack is priced at £199. So the value pack is developed for students who are coming through the CIMA general route, who had excelled at their OTQ examinations. So since you know your theory, you need not have access to master classes. Since you know your theory, since you are coming through the general route, you need not have personalized tutor feedback. So that's the value pack for you, which comes at £199. Then looking at the premium package, this is designed for students who are coming through the exemption route, such as the FLP, and for those who had failed their OCS exam. So as I told you earlier, most students end up failing the OCS exam mainly because of lack of theoretical knowledge. And most students coming through the FLP route are clueless about P1 and F1 syllabi, especially P1. So in such an environment, you need to learn theory in order to be in a position to apply theory when developing your answers. So that's exactly why we have developed a set of material, especially focused on these students under the premium package. So you'd have access to all these material which comes with the value pack. On top of that, you'd have access to an online mock exam platform. So when attempting each of your 5 mock exams, you can do it within our exam platform. So we have developed an exam platform which is totally akin to the Pearson VUE system, because you are supposed to utilize this system when providing your answers on the day of the exam. So we have replicated a similar exam platform in order to ensure that you practice each mock exam under exam conditions via our exam platform. Okay, why should you attempt each mock under exam conditions? Because if you do, you are in a position to understand how to manage exam pressure, how to manage exam stress 3 hours at a stretch. You will also understand or practice. You are also in a position to practice your answering and time management techniques on a continuous basis whenever you are attempting a mock exam. So as I told you earlier, each mock consists of 4 tasks. So you have to keep on every 45 minutes. You need to keep on developing answer plans, sticking to the answering techniques. If you do, you'd manage your time appropriately. So when attempting each mock exam, you have to keep on practicing answering and time management techniques 20 times over in total. So the best way to do it is via our exam platform. And you'd also have access to one-to-one tutor feedback on mocks 3, 4, and 5. So by going through this one-to-one tutor feedback, you are in a position to understand what your shortcomings are. I'll show you what tutor feedback looks like at TCS. So, and on top of that, you would also gain marks at the end of each and every tutor feedback, which helps you to understand what you need to do or how to overcome your shortcomings at your real exam. And as I told you earlier, the premium package comes with answer plans of all 5 mocks and 20 master classes where you can easily learn theory as well as improve your application skills. And this package comes with a pass guarantee as well. So if you invest on the premium package and end up failing, which is highly unlikely, however, if you still end up failing after investing on the premium package, you will have access to the premium package one more time in your subsequent sitting free of charge. So however, in order to claim this pass guarantee, you need to achieve these 4 tasks. What are these 4 tasks? Number 1, you have to complete all mock exams, because without completing all 5 mock exams, you are not in a position to be conversant about all theoretical elements and how each of these theoretical elements are tested at the real exam. If you invest on the premium package and attempt just 1 or 2 mocks, we cannot guarantee your pass. Why? Because you are not conversant about the type of questions which are thrown at you, considering all syllabus elements. So you need to attempt all 5 mock exams. And when developing your answers need to be original. You cannot copy and paste what appears within the suggested answers, because with the mock exams, you'd also have access to suggested answers. So you cannot just, certain students, when attempting their mock exams, what they do is they just copy and paste what appears within the suggested answer. If that is the case, if you do that, you are, fooling yourself. All right, so you need to avoid such a situation. Instead, when attempting each mock exam, you need to keep practicing your answering and time management techniques. There's absolutely no point of cheating, because you are not cheating anyone else but yourself. Then you have to meet the performance criterion when it comes to mocks 3, 4, and 5. You need to achieve an average mark of 40% or higher for mocks 3, 4, and 5. You might be wondering why we had come up with this type of a condition. We have come up with this condition primarily with the intention of ensuring that you do a serious job when attempting mocks 3, 4, and 5. Why do we need you to do a serious job? Because you are receiving tutor feedback for mocks 3, 4, and 5. So if you are not being serious, if you are not giving your best shot, then you are wasting your time, we are wasting your effort. Rather than that, it's beneficial to do your best when attempting mocks 3, 4, and 5, so that you can understand what your real shortcomings are, mainly because of the fact that you received tutor feedback for mocks 3, 4, and 5. And after doing all these things, after completing all 5 mock exams, and if you achieve more than 40% or higher for mocks 3, 4, and 5, and after watching the master classes, there's absolutely no way that you'd fail the OCS exam. So up until now, none of the students who had invested on the premium package, had asked for a pass guarantee or claimed the pass guarantee. The type of students who had claimed the pass guarantee were the individuals who were not serious about studies, or the individuals who did not complete all 5 mock exams. So all in all, if you complete all 5 mock exams and if you do a serious job, you can easily pass in your first sitting itself. Okay, so that's the pass guarantee which we provide. And talking about the pricing of the premium package, the price of this package is £649. So you can pay this in 2 installments of £324 each, or you can save £100 if you pay in full. So we are offering both these options. So if you pay in full, you would be saving £100, or if you opt for an installment payment option, you can go for a installment option which spans across 2 months. And all products are available until the 28th of February 2024. All right, so that's what we offer. So any questions, guys? So I've been speaking for a long period of time and trying to cover a lot. Any questions? All right, folks. So thank you very much for those questions. So I'm moving forward. I'm moving on to the 7-week study plan. So let's look at what the study plan looks like. So, you can check out the study plan via our website itself. So as I told you earlier, our study plan spans across 8 weeks. So this is the week in which you are supposed to kickstart your preparation. So because from week number 1, you need to get serious. Okay, so within this week, leading up to next Saturday, you are supposed to simply allocate 8 hours for studies. So you are supposed to attend the first webinar, which you have done already, and you are supposed to refer to the OTQ theory revision cards and refer to the OCS familiarization kit. Okay, so by referring to the OTQ theory revision cards, you will be brushing up your knowledge pertaining to OTQ theoretical elements, and by referring to the OCS familiarization kit, since this is your first CIMA case study, you need to be conversant with the technical nitty-gritty. So I've covered everything within this webinar. And if you missed out on the initial parts of the webinar, by referring to the familiarization kit, you are in a position to easily understand the technicalities behind your examination. So that's what you need to do within this week. So things are quite simple. And as I told you earlier, from week number 1, things get serious. So again, the study hours which you need to allocate is just 8 hours in the first week. So you are supposed to attend the second webinar, pre-scene analysis, so that you'd understand what's covered within the pre-scene document. Then you are supposed to watch the pre-scene analysis videos, mind you, within the second webinar, which is happening next Saturday. I will not be taking you through the entire pre-scene document. Instead, I'll be just covering one part. Our pre-scene analysis videos consists of 4 parts, out of which I'm just focusing on one single element. Okay, so just by attending next week's webinar, you won't be conversant with the technicalities highlighted within the pre-scene. Instead, I invite you guys to watch all 4 pre-scene analysis videos, so that you'd have an in-depth understanding about what happens within the company, its industry, as well as its financial statements. And you are supposed to refer to the annotated pre-scene. So let me quickly show you what a typical annotated pre-scene looks like. So as I told you earlier, we have come up with annotations with the prime intention of ensuring that you are only focused on the most important information highlighted within the pre-scene document. So rather than trying to remember all these points highlighted within the pre-scene. Simply by going through these annotations, you are in a position to understand easily what happens within the company. And on top of that, when developing the pre-scene analysis videos, the same, we are conducting the analysis based on the same annotated pre-scene. And as part of these annotations, we are also highlighting the type of theoretical elements which can be tested within your examination, and the type of exam scenarios which can be thrown at you. So that's what you're supposed to do in week number 1. Watch the pre-scene analysis videos, refer to the annotated pre-scene, and then you have to move on to the financial analysis, industry analysis, and top 10 issue slides. Okay, so let me quickly show you what our financial analysis and industry analysis slides comprise of. So these are our industry analysis slides. So by going through this set of slides, you can easily understand what happens within the chosen industry. So rather than you doing your own research and wasting a lot of time, you can understand everything if you go through these industry analysis slides, and it comprises of 4 main elements. We are providing an overview into the industry. We are highlighting about the competitive landscape, also highlighting the industry trends, as well as providing real world examples at the very end, because it's better to understand how a similar company operates in the real world. Then you can easily apply or relate to the pre-scene when developing your answers when attempting each of your mock exams. So you can check out all these free content via our website, or these are not free content. You can check out all the sample material via our website. So these are the type of industrial analysis slides you'd get your hands on. And let me also quickly show you the financial analysis slides as well. So as I told you earlier, the examiner gives you an indication about the financial performance of the company. So we have evaluated the SOPL, and by reading these evaluations, you can easily understand where the company stands in a financial sense. The same type of analysis is conducted for the balance sheet or the statement of financial position as well. Again, by reading these evaluations, you can quickly understand about the future financial position of the company, and same type of analysis is conducted based on the statement of cash flows as well. And at the very end, a ratio analysis is conducted, and each ratio had been evaluated so that you can easily decrypt what's hidden within the financial statements, or easily understand where the company stands in a financial sense. Okay, so that's what you're supposed to do in the first week. So you are in the first week, you're not supposed to be involved with attempting mock examinations. Instead, you are just brushing up your knowledge, going through the pre-scene document in order to understand what the company is up to. And after you're conversant with the pre-scene, after you know what the company is up to, you are supposed to start attempting mock exams. So you are supposed to attempt mock number 1 via the exam platform. And after attempting the first mock, you are supposed to watch the 4 master classes, so that you understand the logic behind the questions and answers which are covered within the first mock exam. And on top of that, you are in a position to learn theory and improve your application skills. So I do not want you guys to watch the masterclass and then attempt the mock exam. Instead, try to be honest with yourself. Try to give your best shot and see how tough an OCS examination is. So mind you, when you attempt the first mock exam, you would be under extreme levels of stress. It's better to, experience this type of stress right now rather than at your real exam. So you have to be honest. Attempt mock number 1 via the exam platform. Try to give your best. You'd actually screw everything up. Take it from me. You'd be extremely stressed. But after watching the master classes, you'd realize the type of answers you are supposed to develop. And by referring to the answer plans, you are in a position to understand what you should have covered within each and every task. Because since you had attempted the mock exam, you know the type of answers, you remember the type of answers which you provided. And after watching the master classes and going through the answer plans, you are in a position to easily understand what your shortcomings are. So let me quickly show you what an answer plan looks like. So the answer plan is actually a summary or a short note of each of the answers provided for each and every task. And by looking at this answer plan, you can easily understand the structure of the answer as well, which is going to be extremely beneficial for you at your real exam. And when conducting, I said we are conducting 20 master classes, and each of the master classes are conducted based on these answer plans. So you can easily, by watching the master classes, you can easily understand what your shortcomings are. You can learn theory and improve your application skills. So throughout, rather than reading pages and pages of suggested answers, you can simply refer to these answer points, or you can simply refer to the short note and understand the type of answers you are supposed to develop. Okay, so the second week is dedicated for mock number 1, and in the third week we are supposed to do something similar to that. In the third week we are doing the third webinar answering technique. So you, when attempting the first mock exam, you'd be clueless about answering and time management techniques. Why have we planned this? Because you need to understand what your shortcoming is. So you need to attempt mock exam, mock number 1 raw, give your best shot and see where you stand as a student. Then you'd understand your shortcomings. And after that, when you attend the third webinar and when you learn answering and time management techniques, then you'd realize how to overcome your shortcomings. You'd realize what your shortcomings are, and then you'd realize how to overcome each of your shortcomings. So you're supposed to attend the third webinar, then attempt mock number 2 via the exam platform. After attempting mock number 2, watch the 4 master classes and refer to the answer plans pertinent to mock number 2. And a similar approach should be adhered to when it comes to week number 4. We are conducting the 4th webinar, exam prep. I highlighted what's covered under the 4th webinar at the very inception of this webinar. You are supposed to, I've done a blunder here. You are supposed to attempt mock number 3 and watch the 4 master classes so that you understand the logic behind each and every answer. And from mock number 3 onwards, we are providing personalized tutor feedback. So this is the type of feedback you'd receive if you utilize our services, which comes under the premium package. So as you can see, on a paragraph by paragraph basis, I've provided my evaluations, which helps you understand what your shortcomings are. So throughout this answer script, as you can see, I've provided feedback, tutor feedback on a paragraph by paragraph basis. And at the very end, we provide mark allocations as well, and simply focus on the success rate which we have provided. So the success rate gives you an indication about the type of subtasks in which you have excelled or you have done well. And if you had excelled, you can you can be happy about yourself. And when redeveloping your answer plans after you have done with your attempting each mock exam, you are, in order to further improve, you are supposed to redevelop answer plans on your own. So when it comes to redeveloping answer plans, you can solely focus on the subtasks in which your success rate is low. So if you look at the student's performance, the student, when when it comes to redeveloping answer plans, he or she just needs to redevelop answer plans for subtask 1B and C, because the success rate is low, task 3B and task 4B. Other than that, the student need not waste time trying to redevelop answer plans for the entire mock exam. So as you can see, we have developed the study system with the intention of ensuring that you do not waste time, because I know for a fact that you guys are into full-time employment, you have family commitments, you might have kids. If that is the case, being involved with education is it's actually impractical. And on top of that, you might be conducting your own business. If so, you'd be rather than working in some place, when you're conducting your own business, you won't have enough time to spend for preparations or education. So in such an environment, we have developed a study system where you can, within a short period of time, you can cover everything which is needed for a first time pass. So, and at the very end, we provide mark allocations as well. And general comments are also provided, with the intention of ensuring that you further improve your answering techniques and time management techniques. So that's what you are supposed to do in week number 5 and week number 4 rather. In week number 5, you are supposed to attempt mock number 4. Stick to the same process. After attempting mock number 4, you are supposed to watch the master classes to learn theory and improve application skills. Then after that, you are supposed to refer to tutor feedback so that you really understand what your shortcomings are, and then refer to the answer plans. And based on the tutor feedback, after understanding in the subtasks in which your performance is low, you are supposed to redevelop answer plans. And after you redevelop the answer plans, you are supposed to compare your answer plans to the answer plans which we have provided. So, that's a type of revision which will ensure a first time pass. You are supposed to do the same in week number 6 as well. So week number 6 is dedicated towards mock number 5. Okay. And in the 7th week, this is the week prior to the examination, you are supposed to simply refer to the answer plans of mocks 1 to 5. If you refer to these answer plans, you would be revising theory, you would be improving your or revising application skills, as well as revising your knowledge about the logic behind each and every answer. So rather than being bombarded with work, you are actually relaxing a week before the exam. And you are supposed to simply reread the annotated pre-scene one last time and attend the final Q&A. And you are supposed to stop preparations a day prior to the exam. Sleep, eat, and rest well. So you might think that I'm stupid to ask when I'm asking you to stop preparations a day prior to the exam. So let's assume if your exam is on the 8th of February, I want you guys to stop preparations by the 6th of February. You are supposed to relax on the 7th. Why I'm asking you to do is because, as I told you earlier, the CIMA examiner is trying to replicate a real life corporate environment. So in a real life corporate environment, if you are not rested, if you are not well rested, you cannot function properly as a finance officer. So let's assume you are supposed to walk into office on Monday, and on Sunday you were partying, you were up all night, or you were up all night because you were studying. So if that is the case, you cannot function properly on Monday. So you'd face a similar situation at your exam, especially given that this is a highly competitive examination. You'd be under a lot of stress if you try to go through study material a day prior to the exam. Instead, the prudent thing to do is to stop all work day before the exam. So if your exam is on the 8th of Feb, you are supposed to stop all your preparations by the 6th. You are supposed to relax on the 7th. If you relax, then you would be confident. And if you have a relaxed mindset, if you have a confident mindset, then you are in a position to easily pass your OCS examination. So as you can see, when all the other students are scrambling for time, when they're trying to attempt mock exams, develop answer plans, watch videos, and do everything under the sun, you are relaxing a week before the exam. And if you are relaxing, you'd achieve a first time pass for sure. So how can you achieve such a mindset? How can you achieve such a situation? By sticking to our study plan. So on a week by week basis, as you can see, you are moving forward. You are attempting a mock exam on a weekly basis. And when doing it, you are improving your answering and time management techniques on a continuous basis. And if you do a week before the exam, you are actually relaxing. So let me quickly tell you about the approach which you need to adhere to when attempting the mock exams. So let's assume I do not want you guys to dedicate Monday for preparations or for study purposes, because most of you are in the corporate sector. So Mondays are busy. I do not want you guys to be involved with, academic work on a Monday. Instead, let's assume you attempt mock number 1 on a Tuesday. Let's focus on mock number 3, because from mock 3 onwards, you are getting tutor feedback. So let's assume you attempt mock number 3 on a Tuesday. On Wednesday, you are supposed to watch the master classes. And by Thursday you would receive tutor feedback, because we provide tutor feedback within 48 hours. So if you attempt the mock on Tuesday, you'd receive tutor feedback by Thursday. And by Thursday, you'd understand what your real shortcomings are. And on Friday, I want you to redevelop the answer plans for the tasks in which your success rate was low. And on Saturday and Sunday, it's just a matter of attending the weekly webinar or the workshop. So that's the only thing which you are supposed to do on a weekly basis, nothing else. So the real responsibility is with regards to attempting a mock per week. Everything else is handled by us, because it's extremely easy to watch a video. So you are supposed to attend, you are supposed to attempt a mock on Tuesday. By Wednesday, you are supposed to watch the master classes. By Thursday, you'd receive tutor feedback. And on Friday, you are simply supposed to redevelop answer plans in the subtasks in which your success rate is low. And after redeveloping the answer plans, you can easily compare your answer plans with the answer plans which we have provided and further understand what your shortcomings are. So it's as if you are going through the same mock exam 5 times over within a span of 7 days. So that's enough and more revision for you to get your answers right at your exam. And in the last week, you are again going through the answer plans. So it's as if you are going through each and every mock exam 6 times over. And if you had gone through all 5 mock exams 6 times over, you have covered all theoretical elements. You'd understand how to structure your answers. You'd understand what comes in handy with regards to application skills. And on top of that, you had practiced your answering and time management techniques 20 times over. And after doing all these things, there's absolutely no chance that you end up failing the exam. So simply stick to the study process. Start preparations right now. Stick to the study process by allocating just 7 hours on a weekly basis. You can excel your OCS exam easily. Do not wait until the last 2 weeks, last 3 weeks, because if you wait until the last 2 or 3 weeks, you won't have enough time, because you are not only involved with studies, you have your personal commitments, you have your corporate commitments, you might be running your business. So you cannot predict whether you have time available at your disposal. So instead, it's better to manage your preparations in a stress-free environment. So simply stick to our study plan. We are proud to announce about our leaderboard. So in the year 2022, 4 of our students got national ranks for the OCS examination, and each of these individuals achieved a national rank. Why? Because they simply stuck to the study system, or the study plan which we have provided. So these guys, what they actually did was, they just allocated 3 hours on a weekly basis to attempt the mock exam. So that's the only type of serious responsibility or the serious type of activity which they carried out. Other than that, everything else was handled by us. So if you attempt a mock on a weekly basis and utilize our study resources, then you can achieve a first time pass. Not just a first time pass, you might be in a position to achieve a national rank as well. Okay. All right. Any questions, folks? So we have covered everything which I planned for within today's webinar. Any questions or concerns? All right, folks, seems like there aren't any questions. So let me conclude the session. So you can, if you want to get in touch with us, you can do so via our website, which is www.study@tcs.com, or simply drop us an email via our email address, which is info@study@tcs.com. And you can reach us via WhatsApp as well. I'm always ready to call you if that's necessary through WhatsApp. So you can get in touch with us via 7898-464196. And I invite you guys to follow us on our social media handles, especially TikTok, because please go check out our TikTok handle, because via the TikTok handle, you'd get your hands on a good study summary of the pre-seen document. So I said, as the finance officer of this company, you need to be conversant with what's covered within the pre-seen document, or the most important, you need to remember the most important information covered within the pre-seen document. And the best way to keep reminding yourself about the most important points highlighted is by watching the 3 TikTok videos which we have developed. So each TikTok video comprises of just 1.5 to 2 minutes. So all 3 TikTok videos would take up 6 to 7 minutes of your time. So on a daily basis, if you keep watching these 3 TikTok videos, then you'd constantly keep reminding yourself about the most important information covered within the pre-seen document. So by watching these 3 TikToks, if you watch these 3 TikToks, you need not do anything else to remember the most important information. So in order to make your life easy, we have developed these TikToks. So please make use of this material which we are providing. All right, so having said that, concluding thought is to approach OCS as an opportunity to learn rather than an exam to pass, because you are supposed to play the role of a finance officer. So what best way is there to function as the finance officer, or the best way to function as the finance officer of this company is to approach the exam with a practical mindset and a positive attitude. So having said that, it brings us to the end of today's webinar. Thank you very much for joining us. And I hope you join us in the upcoming webinars and workshops, which will help you, improve your skill set and achieve a first time pass in your OCS exam. Thank you very much. Have a great day.